Hi guys. Okay, so I wanted to do another New Beginnings November video. I took a break this weekend. I had an incredibly amazing but very busy weekend, and I was not able to do videos, including on Friday. But I just wanted to come back. This was one that I had started to do the research on, and it's overwhelming in a good and bad way, how much is out there, but yet how much we still don't know. So anyways, today I wanted to talk about other ingredients that we want to avoid. On November 2nd, I talked about soap and antibacterial soap specifically, and why we want to avoid triclosan and other antibacterial ingredients in these soaps. I should say synthetic antibacterial ingredients in soaps. And so this just kind of piggybacks along with that video. I would totally encourage, if you haven't seen that, scroll down on my page and you can watch the video. I give a lot of information about those things to avoid. But I wanted today to talk about other ingredients that we want to make sure that are not a part of our life. I firmly believe that a healthy body will stay healthy. But if we are allowing our bodies to be bombarded with all of these synthetics, that's when we have the potential to have problems in our bodies. I am not saying that all cancers are caused by synthetics, but do I think that we can help our body, help our cells to regenerate if we avoid certain toxins and certain synthetics? Yeah, absolutely. And good cells that regenerate on their own, that's a good thing. So my goal is just education for you guys so that you can do your own research. I am not an expert by any means. I just like to look stuff up and put things together in ways that make sense to me, and hopefully that it's beneficial to others as well. So I'm actually borrowing today from BeautyCounter. BeautyCounter is a makeup line. It started as a makeup, well, it didn't even start as a makeup line, but the whole idea behind BeautyCounter is that there are so many cosmetic ingredients that are bad for us, like really, really bad for us. And we're putting them on as women, we're putting them on our skins all the time. And that's not good. And so the founders of BeautyCounter decided that they wanted to put a stop to that. So not only do they have this amazing toxin-free makeup, it works great, but also they are at the forefront of this movement towards getting away from toxins in other supplies and beauty products as well. Oh, thank you, Amy. This is just sunlight back behind me, giving me a nice little halo. And then, my gosh, my overhead lighting. But thanks, I'm glad you like the lighting. So what I would encourage you to do after this video is to just do a Google search and do BeautyCounter Never List. They have a list of ingredients that are found in common cosmetic products. And a lot of these, I will tell you, I'm going to struggle saying, and I'm actually not going to read every single one of them. There's a lot. There's a lot on this list. But yeah, I'm going to struggle with actually how you pronounce a lot of those because, well, they are man-made. They're synthetic. And so they have some crazy names. That being said, just because you look at the ingredients on the back of whatever it is that you're purchasing and it has something that you can't pronounce, that doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. A lot of companies, and I speak from experience using Young Living, which I know is chemical free, but looking at, you know, like the shampoo and looking at that, I know that it's really, really great for us, really fantastic for the skin, fantastic for the hair, doesn't have any of those ingredients we want to avoid, but they have to use the Latin words for some of it. They have to use the ones that are hard to explain, so the hard to say. So just because you have to, just because you can't pronounce something doesn't mean, oh, I can't use this ingredient whatsoever. Do a little bit more research and see actually what that is. But the BeautyCounter list is a great place to start. In fact, a lot of people will take, there's printable ones that you can find just by doing a Google search, and you can stick that in your purse and you can easily look that up. I would also suggest that, hey Amanda, hey Anya, hey Christy, hey Rachel, hey Michelle, hey Beth, hey Ray, hey Daisy, hey Stephanie. I would also say download on your phone. If you have a smartphone, download the EWG Skin Deep app, EWG Environmental Working Group, and Skin Deep. I think that the app is called like Healthy or something like that. I don't remember the exact name of the app, but if you do a search for that, it'll pop up, and you can actually scan the ingredients, or you can actually scan the barcode of the product that you're shopping for and just see how it's rated. If it's rated a 1, 2, or 3, that's good. Obviously, the lower the number, the better. If it is anything higher than a 3, you really want to stay away from it. It goes all the way up to a 10. That's really toxic. Those are things you totally stay away from. So anyways, let's talk about some of these ingredients. So first one I can talk about, and I can say animal fats, oils, and musks. Hey Christina, how are you? So these are going to be rendered beef or mutton fat, tallow. And those are usually gotten after an animal has been killed. Those can be found in soap, salve, shaving products. So those are that's the first one that they recommend to avoid. But then they have benzalkonium chloride. It's a preservative, and it's associated with severe skin, eye, respiratory irritation, allergies. It's found in sunscreens. It's found in moisturizers. So it's stuff that you're putting all over your skin. Hey Kim, how are you? If you're putting it all over your skin, that's your biggest organ. It is absorbing into your skin, into your bloodstream, and going throughout your body. We don't want that in our blood. We don't want it. You have BHA, BHT. Those are hormone disruptors. They can cause liver damage. They are usually used to extend the shelf life of a product, but they're found in lipstick. Okay, so if it's lipstick and you're licking your lips, can you imagine ingesting that? Ugh. Moisturizers, diaper creams, other cosmetics, but they disrupt hormones. Do you want that near your baby? Your little tiny precious baby that you're trying to protect from everything? No, you absolutely don't want that. Liver damage. Oh my gosh, no one wants to have that happen. There's enough that our liver has to do. We want to protect it as much as we can. We have coal tar hair dyes and other coal tar ingredients. They're a byproduct of the coal processing, and it is a known carcinogen, but it is used in beauty products. So it's usually used as a colorant, anti-dandruff agent. It's found in hair dyes, shampoos, and you just want to stay away from it. It's probably a smell that you know. You can recognize that smell, so you want to be away from that. But then also there's, okay, here's one that I am going to have trouble pronouncing. Butoxyethanol, I think. It's a fragrance additive. And what it does, and it's because it's a fragrance, it's going to irritate the skin. It's going to potentially cause cancer, reproductive toxicity. But it's found in fragrances. It's found in hair color. If you've ever dyed your hair, you know that's not a very pleasant smell anyway. And a lot of times what these companies will do is they'll add a fragrance to it to lessen the effect, to try to mask that odor. First of all, you want to be really careful about the hair dyes that you're using to begin with. But then when they've added in a fragrance, those fragrances are not good for us. Synthetic fragrances are awful for us. I will just go out and say that. So We also have, oh my gosh. Okay. It's the abbreviation is EDTA. Ethylene diamintrinatasacid acid. It's big. Here we go. That's it right there. That's a lot. I can't even pronounce it. But it's going to aid in absorption. So like absorption into the skin. You've tried those products, those moisturizers that you just don't feel like actually get into your skin. Well, the ones that are easy to get into the skin, it could contain EDTA. It's going to aid in that absorption, which we like the feeling of, but it could be toxic to our organs because of that added property. It's found in hair colors, moisturizers, so not good. And then we have formaldehyde. Okay, formaldehyde. We know that's not good, right? But yet, do you know how many things formaldehyde is in? And yet, it's still not banned. Like, that's really scary. Formaldehyde is found in so many nail polishes alone. I mean, so I don't always like having painted nails. I do now, but like you have to search for good either 3 free, like 3 the number free, and that's going to be like the 3 most toxic ingredients, and it's free of those in those nail polishes. Or 5 free, or even 8 free. I think that butter nail polish, which is not a cheap nail polish, but it is an 8 free nail polish. So it actually has, it's so much better for you. If you're going to paint your nails, it's so much better for you than some of those other options out there. But so formaldehyde, it's used as a preservative in cosmetics. Well, yeah, it's also used as a preservative for dead bodies. But it's linked to asthma, and has been linked to asthma, neurotoxicity, developmental toxicity. And I will tell you that good cosmetics don't contain formaldehyde. You want to stay far away from that one. But it can be found in shampoo, body wash, bubble bath. Bubble bath. Again, something you're putting on and around your kids. Probably if your child is taking a bath, they're also ingesting a little bit of that water. You don't want them ingesting formaldehyde. Like, you just don't. Come on, we know that, right? Then there's also hydroquinone. Again, not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly. I tend to stay away from these things. So do I know how to pronounce it? I don't. But that's going to be a skin lightening chemical. Okay, well, first of all, let's think. If it's really altering our skin like that, do you think that it's something that we want on our skin? Probably not. But it's a skin lightening chemical, and it's linked to cancer. It's linked to organ toxicity, and it's linked to skin irritation. And it's found in these skin lightening creams to help improve the color there. Then we also have methyl salicylate, and that's going to be a fragrance ingredient, and it can lead to cancer, and it's often found in anti-aging creams to help the smell for those. We have oxybenzone, which is a sunscreen agent. So, we're thinking if we're putting sunscreen on our skin, that's great. We're helping to avoid, oh, and my phone is working. It hasn't been working for a while, but it's working, and now it's ringing. Oh, well, we'll let it go. We think of sunscreens as just being good for us. We want to put sunscreens on. And yes, we want to put sunscreens on. But you have to be so careful about the sunscreen that you use. Again, because you're putting it all over your body. It is absorbing all over your body into your bloodstream. And so the wrong kind of sunscreen agents, it can lead to irritation of the skin, sensitization, allergies, and hormone disruption. Then we have parabens. You see, that's kind of the big one right now. You see things that are paraben free. Well, what do parabens do? So there's methyl, isobutyl, propyl, other others of those. But what they do is they alter the hormone mechanisms in our bodies. They mess with important natural signals, and they can also play a role in triggering breast cancer. Again, there's no... Cancer is one of those that, you know, maybe our cells are prone to developing it, but there are things that we can do along the way to inhibit that or to add to it. And so really, do you want to just keep adding things on that could potentially lead to that trigger? You don't. So staying away from parabens is a really good thing. But parabens can be found in shampoo. They can be found in face cleansers. They can be found in body wash, body lotion, foundations. So seeing that it is paraben free is a really good thing. Now, again, just know that just because it says paraben free, read the ingredients and just make sure that you know what those ingredients are. And yeah, you're going to look at that ingredients on the back of that bottle and you're going to say, I'm not really sure about what all these are. Well, look them up. That's being an educated consumer. Or, you know, what I've done, because frankly, I don't have time to look up, the amount of products that I use, I don't have time to look up the ingredients, all of those. I have a few companies that I trust completely, and that's where I get my products from. And that's really just what I've done to make it easier on me, because I don't know that I could do it any other way. You have resorcinol. It's a skin irritant. It is toxic to the immune system. Now, when you hear toxic, it doesn't mean death. Toxic means that it can cause disruptions, it can cause harm, and it can cause trouble. But really, do we want anything that can cause any of those? We don't. We want to stay away from them as much as we can. So, a lot of the resorcinols are going to be found in hair coloring products. But it also can lead to hormone disruption. We need our hormones. We need healthy hormones. So yeah. Let's see. Oh, sodium lauryl sulfates and sodium laureth sulfates. Those are big ones right now. So those are SLS, SLESs. Those cause skin irritation. They trigger allergies, and those are found in shampoo, body wash, bubble bath. So yeah, we want to stay away from those. I'm seeing as I'm looking at the list, so much of this so many of them are in shampoos. So many of them are in moisturizers. It's just all of the man-made stuff. And then we talked about triclosan a couple of days ago, that it harms the reproductive system. It harms hormones, and also the environment, because as we're washing it down the drain over and over and over again, in those soaps, in those antibacterial soaps, that's a big problem. It's causing environmental concerns because it's going into our water stream, and it's actually the type of molecule that it is. We can't get it out of our water system even after we've treated it, just because of how it's chemically altered. So the last thing that I want to talk about are fragrances. And I'm going to do a whole video on fragrances because I feel like it's needed. But synthetic fragrances, synthetic flavors, basically anytime you see the word fragrance or perfume, stay far, 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 far away from it. I'll tell you why first, and then I'll tell you the story. So those can cause hormone disruptions. They can cause allergens. The fragrance formulas, this is kind of scary. Those are protected under federal law because they're often trade secrets. And so they're protected. So these companies that say that there's a fragrance in there don't have to say what is in that fragrance because it's the trade secret. That's terrifying, because now we have no idea what we're putting on our body. It is an unknown, and there is no way that we can figure it out. So by avoiding synthetic fragrances, by avoiding these synthetic perfumes, synthetic dyes, synthetic flavors, we can take an unknown completely out of the equation. And those are found in everything. I mean, just about everything. So a story for you. So when I was pregnant and we were washing all of the baby clothes and getting things ready, you hear that you want to get Dreft. Dreft is the baby laundry soap that you want to get, laundry detergent. That's it. So we got Dreft, and that's what we were using. Well, probably when David was 5 months old, 4 months old, we were realizing, well, his skin is not looking good at all. And we took him in, and the very first thing that our pediatrician asked us was, well, what kind of laundry detergent are you using? And I said, we're Dreft. And he said, oh, well, Dreft, you shouldn't be using Dreft. I said, oh, well, it's the unscented Dreft. He said, it's not unscented. I was like, oh, it's not unscented? He's like, nope, it's not unscented. It's like, okay. Hey, Michael. Hey, Stacy. And so I was like, oh, well, I mean, it doesn't really smell like anything. Of course, this is far before all of my oily days. And so he said, well, it is fragranced, and there is a smell to it. You may not realize it totally, but there is a fragrance there. And you want to switch to an unscented, completely unscented, free and clear detergent. And so that's when I was like, oh, okay. So we switched, and we noticed that there was an improvement. David's skin cleared up immensely because of that. And it was because in that laundry detergent that we had been using, there were irritants. There were those synthetic compounds. It said that it was for babies, but it wasn't. And I couldn't believe that I was putting that on my kid's skin. And then, of course, there's so many other factors that kind of led us down this natural road and natural path. But that was a big eye-opener for us, that I could see those results. I could see what that was doing to his skin, his perfect, sweet baby skin, how that synthetic fragrance was affecting it. And since then, of course, I did so much research, and we've done many different types of detergents and things until we have now found our favorite. And it's incredible how a synthetic fragrance, you think that it's something that is just so mild and is just going to leave your laundry, smelling great and awesome. But what kind of damage it can just do to the skin. And if it's doing that to the skin, what long-term effects it can have. So I want to close out just by talking again, since we're talking of other ingredients we want to avoid. In the news lately, there has been this talcum powder lawsuit with Johnson & Johnson. And I don't know everything about this lawsuit. It intrigues me immensely. The researcher in me really wants to find out more and find out, I'd love to get transcripts of it, because basically what has happened is background. In 1892, Johnson & Johnson's Director of Scientific Affairs, Dr. Kilmer, he invented a scented powder, and it was labeled for toilet and for nursery. And the idea is that he added a perfume. So again, we know perfume not so good, but he added a perfume to Italian talcum, and he marketed it with sanitary napkins to midwives, new mothers, following childbirth, to help with the scent and also to help keep things dry. And so it became really popular really fast. And people actually started associating that scent to newborn babies. That just became an association. So in my generation, that was what you smelled. You smelled that baby powder smell. Oh, it smells like babies. Well, talcum powder is used in tons of beauty products all over the place. It's supposed to prevent irritation, dries baby skin on diapers, absorbs moisture, absorbs bad odors. I'll tell you that if we're talking perfume, it's really just masking the odors. But anyways, it can be found in contraceptive devices, condoms, diaphragms, reducing friction. So it's found in a lot of different things, not just in baby powder. So really, later on, it was found that talcum is not so safe, and that has become a problem. The first talcum powder lawsuit was filed in 2009. It was filed by Diane Berg. She was from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. And she had been using talcum powder for most of her life. And it was really to get rid of smells. That was why she was using it. And she had no idea that it was dangerous. Nowhere on the packaging was it said to be dangerous. But yet she found out at 49 years old that she had ovarian cancer. And that was in 2006 that she found that. So she made the connection to the talcum powder, and she sued Johnson & Johnson. Johnson & Johnson came in. Oh yeah, good. Stephanie, throw that stuff away. Yeah, we want to get rid of it. I'm so glad that you have trashed it. We had done the same. We got it as a baby gift and didn't know any different until we knew different, and then we trashed it. But yeah, so she sued Johnson & Johnson, and in 2013, they offered her a deal. It was like 1.3 million, I think. And but instead of taking it, well, because if she took it, she had to sign a confidentiality agreement, basically saying that she wouldn't talk. Well, she didn't want to stay quiet because frankly, she wanted everyone to know about it. She didn't want any other women to have to go through what she has gone through. So she said no. She didn't receive any monetary compensation. You're right, Stephanie. Yeah, it's just hush money. I mean, for something as big as Johnson & Johnson, 1.3 million is not all that much. So she didn't receive any money from it. And she decided that she was hooked up with the right people, the right lawyers, and it became a big, huge suit. Well, 2 judges in St. Louis ordered Johnson & Johnson to pay $127 million in damages to 2 other families. And basically, one of those judges also found Johnson & Johnson to be guilty of negligence, conspiracy, and failure to warn women of the increased cancer risk linked with using talc in the genital area. So basically, there's a precedent here for that, and for that much money to be awarded and to it have been this big, there is a reason. There is a medical reason why there is that link. Now, I wanted to do my own research, and I wanted to figure out, well, like, what's the scientific proof to show that talcum powder leads to cancer? Because yeah, do I use it? Absolutely not. But I want to know why. Like, what did they find in these trials to be able to award $127 million? Well, it's a little bit more complicated than just finding the link, and there it is. Because of the talcum powder itself, it's very hard to test it to find that link to cancer. So it's not that the awarding of the sentence is that scientific proof. It's a lot more complicated. It has to do with the amount that's used, how often it's used, where it's used, although in my opinion, I wouldn't use it anywhere. But there's been a larger study, and I pulled it up. If you just do a Google search on talcum powder and ovarian cancer or talcum powder and cancer, you're going to probably see this study pop up. But it reviewed a lot of that scientific evidence, and it basically said that there's a lot of hardships to make that link. But that being said, it's because it's not a proper drug. Same reason why we have a really hard time testing essential oils in the big way that other drugs, like man-made drugs, can be tested, because of how it's produced. So anyways, because it's not a proper drug, because talc is not a proper drug, there is not adequate medical reports to assess the risks in that real world environment. But basically, my advice is stay away from it. Don't go anywhere near it. Throw it away. There's just been enough out there that it's just not worth taking the risk. An option instead would be cornstarch. That could be if you're looking for some sort of drying effect, cornstarch could be a great option for you. With all of these powders, you want to make sure that you're not inhaling it, because that can cause damage. But cornstarch is going to be a lot healthier option than talcum powder. So anyways, that's what I have. And I know that this was a slightly longer one, and I did not go over all of the ingredients you want to avoid. There's a lot of them. Just do your research, and find companies that you can trust. Find companies that you know. Don't just say that they're natural. Like, don't just go off of that. Really look into them. But when you find a couple of companies that you can trust them, and go with them. I did that. I mean, that's honestly what led me to Young Living. But there's so many good companies out there that you really can trust the products that they put out, and they put out enough products that you can just stick with those few. But also, avoid these other ones, because synthetic compounds absolutely can lead to body toxicity, can lead to illness. And so if you can help your body as much as possible and keep it as natural as possible, you're going to be a lot healthier in the long run. So anyways, yes, Stephanie, I hope that it was helpful. And definitely, again, always do your research, but stick with the companies that you can trust. If you want to chat with me privately, send me a message, comment here. I can tell you a couple of companies that are always my go-tos, and I'm happy to share that with you. This is not supposed to be hey, I want you to use this company, I want you to use that. This is all about just educating you and making you feel empowered. So anyways, I don't know if you can hear my dog. She wants to come inside, so I'm going to go. And I hope that you guys have a great and healthy day. Bye.